Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for all things Liverpool FC. Today, we've got absolute drama from Anfield and beyond. Legends clashing with Chelsea. Costa getting wound up, Trent's new dilemma. Gerrard's shock move, Gakpo's transfer worry, and Mamardashvili's heroic moment. Stay tuned, Reds. This one's packed with passion, pride, and pure Liverpool fire. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Liverpool Legends ratings versus Chelsea as captain winds up Diego Costa before late Reds winner Liverpool's Legends side took on their Chelsea counterparts at Stamford Bridge on Saturday and won it with a late goal. It doesn't quite make up for last weekend's Stamford Bridge disappointment. But Liverpool Legends struck late to beat their Chelsea equivalents in Saturday's charity clash. Ryan Babel, who had started the game only to be taken off at halftime, re-emerged from the bench to win it with the only goal of the game just 2 minutes from the end, leaving a star-studded Chelsea side featuring the likes of John Terry, Petr Cech, Diego Costa, and Eden Hazard disappointed. The match, which was played in aid of the Chelsea Foundation, which you can donate to here, featured several blasts from Liverpool's past, and here's how they got on. Pepe Reina making his Legends debut, it looked as though he was going to stage a repeat of his Stamford Bridge red card in February 2006 when he raced out of his goal towards the touchline in the first half. Luckily, this time around there was no Ador Gudjohnsen to challenge or Arjen Robben to raise a hand to, "I must go to the hospital to see him," said a sarcastic Rafa Benitez. And instead he just settled for a cuddle with Gary Cahill. Good save from Costa, and a clean sheet in his 55 minutes on the pitch. Martin Kelly one of the more sprightly on the Liverpool side. Kelly, who scored his only Reds goal in a League Cup tie at Stamford Bridge in 2011, was the first to enjoy a battle with Hazard, and came close to scoring at the start of the second half, Ragnar Klavan assured at the back. So much so that we were treated to slow yet purposeful meanders into midfield on more than one occasion. Sadly, the signature turn was lacking, though. Martin Skrtel, the impressive Reds skipper, took it upon himself to stand up to Costa because someone was going to have to. And it was clear that he got under the fearsome forward's skin. So much so, in fact, that the former Atletico Madrid man would react and pick up a booking, something that produced one of his angry stares in Skrtel's direction. "Where's Jordan Henderson when you need him?" Gregory Vignal started at left back, where he used to play for the Reds, before moving into midfield in the second half and showing some lovely touches. One of the fitter players in the side, despite it being over 20 years since he left Liverpool, we're all so old, before a late injury. Igor Biscan, never the quickest in his Anfield days. The 2 decades since haven't done much for the 47-year-old's pace. But he did make a couple of forays into attack and almost got on the end of cross from Yossi Benayoun. Also bounded into John Terry at one point, which it looked like he enjoyed. Jay Spearing, this was a bit different from the youth team games he occasionally plays in, and there were a couple of fouls on Hazard and John Obi Mikel that you can only hope he's not teaching the young Reds. Fabio Aurelio, such a lovely technical player back in his heyday. You could still see elements of that here, most notably with one raking ball from left to right that sent Jermaine Pennant away. Was an important presence for the Reds in the second half due to his calmness on the ball. That almost sounds like proper analysis, doesn't it? Yossi Benayoun a good run in the first half, which ended with a shot at Petr Cech. Benayoun, formerly of Chelsea as well, was clearly one of the Reds' better players before his halftime departure and then later reintroduction, after which he played a key part in the visitors winning the game. Ryan Babel another who left the field at halftime only to return later on to win it. The 38-year-old Babel was one of the fitter players on the Reds side, and he always carried a threat when cutting inside onto his right foot from the left, as he did excellently for the goal. Florent Cinema Pongole a quiet first 45 minutes for the Frenchman before he was taken off at halftime. He was always better as a sub anyway. Trent Alexander-Arnold decision has given Arne Slot another Liverpool problem to solve. Jeremy Frimpong and Connor Bradley are both vying to replace. Trent Alexander-Arnold, as Liverpool's established right back, used to be one of the first positions on the Liverpool team sheet under Jurgen Klopp and then Arne Slot. Now, though, The Reds are having major problems filling the hole left by Trent Alexander-Arnold jumping ship to Real Madrid during the summer. Almost $30 million was splashed out on taking Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen to compete with academy graduate Connor Bradley for the role. But it says much that Dominik Szoboszlai, a midfielder by trade, has been Liverpool's most impressive performer this season in a position where both Joe Gomez and Wataru Endo have also had brief stints. Following in the footsteps of such an integral player as Alexander-Arnold was never going to be a straightforward task, particularly for a new arrival such as Frimpong, experiencing the Premier League for this first time. Despite coming through the ranks as a youngster at Manchester City, the Holland international hasn't started a league game since being ruled out for a month, with a hamstring problem sustained on his top-flight debut against Bournemouth on the opening weekend. And former Liverpool defender Glenn Johnson says, "I wonder if he's a bit nervous and overawed by coming into a club like Liverpool." That would be understandable, and he has big shoes to fill as he's replaced Trent Alexander-Arnold. But if that's how he feels, he needs to forget about it all and concentrate on what he's doing. He needs to show why Liverpool signed him and give the same performances he was in Germany. "We haven't seen enough of the player who excelled for Bayer Leverkusen. He's known for his attacking play, but I haven't seen that quality at all yet." For Bradley, the challenge is somewhat different, instead attempting to live up to the expectations he helped generate when making a concerted breakthrough into the Liverpool first team at the start of last year. Similar to Frimpong, the 22-year-old's cause hasn't been helped by an injury that forced him to sit out part of preseason and continued an unwanted trend of the defender suffering hamstring issues at key moments, such as the one that ruled him for a month having against Real Madrid last campaign and another spell on the sidelines around the League Cup. Final loss to Newcastle United and the Champions League exit against Paris Saint-Germain. Indeed, it's easy to forget Bradley has made just 20 career Premier League starts. By the time Alexander-Arnold departed, the England international had reached 235. Nevertheless, the Northern Ireland international has become the man in possession of the right-back berth. Starting the last 3 Premier League games, although it will be a concern he was substituted at half-time in the defeats to Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Slot. Though we'll hope Bradley benefits from a stellar performance for his country in their 2-0 World Cup qualifying win over Slovakia on Friday, and will be rested after a booking ruled him out of Monday's clash with Germany. That highlights an issue in the youngsters' game this season, Bradley having already picked up 3 yellow cards in the Premier League and 2 in the Champions League. He is closing in on a suspension in both competitions. Frimpong, meanwhile, failed to convince on the right of midfield for Holland in their win in Malta, having performed similarly for Liverpool and Galatasaray in the position. It has been a steep learning curve for the Dutchman, Slot indirectly pointing the finger at Frimpong after the 2-1 defeat at Crystal Palace, in which the right-back's eagerness to get forward at a set-piece allowed Eddie Nketiah to grab a dramatic winner. For the Eagles, and Johnson, speaking on behalf of 10Bet, says, "Arne Slot is probably just trying to get a positive reaction. You know, what he said was right, to be honest. I don't like it when managers do that, really. If it was me, I'd always want a manager to have it out with me in private or in the dressing room so we can work it out together. It's a bit strange to do it in public, but I don't think he meant it in a negative way. You just signed the player for a lot of money. He's only played a few times and is still settling in, so it would be a crazy time to go in harshly on the player. I think he was doing it to be positive, and the risk is it hasn't been taken that way by Frimpong." Steven Gerrard makes surprise decision after Rangers talks and unfinished business. Admission: Steven Gerrard has withdrawn from the running to become the new Rangers manager following the sacking of Russell Martin earlier this week. According to reports, Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard has pulled out of contention to make a comeback at Rangers after Russell Martin's sacking. The 45-year-old had been widely tipped as the leading candidate to take charge of the Scottish Giants once. Again, Martin was given his marching orders earlier this week following a lackluster beginning to the season. Gerrard, in stark contrast, enjoyed extraordinary triumph during his previous spell at the helm, ending their 10-year wait for Scottish top-flight glory. However, Sky Sports has now reported that Gerrard has removed himself from consideration to replace Martin. It's believed that both sides held positive talks about the role, though Gerrard felt the timing wasn't quite right for a comeback at this moment. Nonetheless, it's understood he has agreed to leave the possibility open for a future return. Gerrard guided Rangers to the Scottish Premiership title in 2021, masterminding a remarkable unbeaten league campaign that term. Earlier this week, Gerrard admitted he felt there was unfinished business in his managerial career. There's a part of me that still feels that there's a bit of unfinished business in terms of wanting to go in and face another couple of exciting challenges, he said on the Rio Meets podcast. But I want a certain type of challenge. If in an ideal world they come available, I'll jump at them. As Rangers turn their attention elsewhere, it's believed that former Sheffield Wednesday manager Danny Röhl made a significant impact on the club's top brass during the selection process. Röhl, who has been without a job since parting ways with the championship side in July, was reportedly approached by Rangers in the summer before Martin's appointment. Cody Gakpo admits to Liverpool transfer worry after missing out on move. Cody Gakpo joined Liverpool back in January 2023, although the forward has admitted he was worried the move would fall through after being let down by another club. Cody Gakpo has admitted he worried his move to Liverpool in 2023 would collapse. Having been let down previously by another club, the forward arrived at Anfield during the January window of the 2022-23 campaign, having agreed a deal to sign from PSV Eindhoven just before the turn of the year. Gakpo has since gone on to become an integral part of the Reds' side, having made a total of 138 appearances for the club so far, scoring 43 goals in the process. 18 of those came last season, along with 7 assists, as he helped Arne Slot's team to the Premier League title. Before signing for Liverpool, though, the 26-year-old was concerned that his chance in the Premier League may not come, having seen another move collapse beforehand. Lifting the lid on how he found about the move to Anfield, Gakpo told Discovery Plus, "I was in Dubai and my brother and my agent called me. They said there was serious interest from Liverpool, and I was like, oh yeah, amazing, that's good. But I didn't want to jump through the roof because the last time a club came, it collapsed. So I stayed one more day in Dubai and had to come home for Christmas. It went pretty fast, but I knew it was the right move because I was calm on the inside. That was a sign from God that it was the right move." The club involved in the collapse is likely to have been Manchester United, with Gakpo also revealing how he had come close to making the move to Old Trafford just months before he joined Liverpool. "Yeah, it was the summer of 2022. It was deadline day, I guess, yeah," Gakpo said. "The weeks before there was a lot of interest. Maybe I was going to United and stuff, but they ended up buying Antony, so I couldn't go there anymore." Gakpo's comments come after former United coach Benny McCarthy confirmed the Red Devils had come close to signing Gakpo, only for the club to then decide against the move. "Cody Gakpo was the one that we wanted the most and missed out on," McCarthy told BetOnlinePromoCodes.com earlier this year. "I think he was the first player that we sat down and discussed and decided that he was the player who would fit in perfectly. We knew we could play him alongside Marcus Rashford when Rashy was really on song in 2022. I think we were so close to getting him. At one stage, it was ours to lose. The agent knew Eric, and there were really good talks," McCarthy added. "Then I was told the scouting department had watched him numerous times and they didn't rate him. They said the stats weren't right. For me, with my experience, I know what you need to deliver at a special club. You don't need stats to tell you that. The naked eye gives you so much more than just stats." Giorgi Mamardashvili goes from zero to hero as Liverpool star saves. Spain penalty. The Georgian goalkeeper was in action for his country as they bid to secure a place in next summer's World Cup. Liverpool goalkeeper Giorgi Mamardashvili quickly went from zero to hero after conceding a penalty in Georgia's 2-0 defeat to Spain on Saturday evening. The 25-year-old was in action for his national team this week as they bid to qualify for next summer's World Cup. Georgia sit third in Group E on 3 points and are set to face Turkey next week. Shortly after Yeremy Pino opened the scoring for the hosts, Mamardashvili fouled Ferran Torres in his own box. He quickly redeemed himself, though, with a stunning save to deny the Barcelona star from the penalty spot. The goalkeeper then made sure to celebrate right in front of Torres in a passionate way. Georgia assistant coach David Webb previously hailed the shot stopper's qualities, and the player lived up to that praise against Spain. "For us in Georgia, he's a fantastic goalkeeper," he said. "He's what I would call a big-game goalkeeper, so, especially in the Euros and games leading up to that and after that, he stepped up in the big moments, produced big saves, and he's vital for our team. He's got an outstanding character as well. His work ethic is phenomenal, and I think that's a testament to where he is now and where he potentially could be in the future." Although Mamardashvili made amends by saving Torres's penalty, Georgia went on to lose at the Estadio Manuel Martinez Valero in Elche. Georgia have never qualified for the World Cup since becoming a FIFA member in 1992.